what's the benefit in that? And this is here where we really see the stupidity or the harm of people like Hamas, for example. First of all, they are a creation of the Israeli right and the Zionists to begin with. This is a well-established matter that they were funded, brought into existence for the specific reason of having a constant enemy so that they can do away with any kind of peaceful negotiation. Why? Because this whole project is expansionist in its nature, right? It is intended to expand and to take over that region. So therefore you need constant threat, hostility, controversy, right? And so because any talk of negotiations, sitting down, whatever, it kills that warmongering spirit. So these people tactically, they supported the creation and putting these Hamas people in power. This is well known, right? Even up until like the last few years, you're going to find statements of theirs saying that, openly Hamas is an enemy, secretly Hamas is an ally. We have to fund Hamas, right? So you have to imagine like the hypocrisy of on the one hand, you're funding Hamas, let's get Hamas to rule over the Palestinians, let them have democratic elections, let the Palestinians vote in the Hamas, let's put all this in place, right? And then, because they're going to be hostile and they don't want any negotiations, they just want whatever, that will then serve our purpose of saying to the world, see, they want to destroy us and whatever, and when hostilities break out, we can then use it as an excuse to expand, the region and to take over the Gaza and whatever. This is a ploy, it's a trick, it's a tactic that they are using. And then you see all these crocodile tears about, when the tool or the creation, which is Hamas, does what they want Hamas to do, which is to commit atrocities, so that they can then say, look, we now have to, clear out Gaza of the terror, because that's what you planned all along to begin with. Right? And then you're making this pretense to the world as if somehow, So these groups, whether it's Daesh, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Hamas, they are simply tools and creations for geopolitical agendas, right? And these people have ended up in this situation because they are not founded upon, the issue isn't for them Tawheed and Sunnah. It's worldly grievance. And you can be very easily manipulated and used when that is the basis of your operation and your activities. And another thing as well, don't you find it strange that not a whimper, not a whisper from Daesh? Where's Daesh gone? Where's ISIS gone? Disappeared. Nowhere to be seen. Meaning, wouldn't you expect that they would come along and say, okay, we've now announced, jihad against the Jews or something, which is what you would expect, which is what the West would expect them to do as well. Right? But where are they? Nowhere to be seen. They're only present when it comes to destabilizing Muslim countries. That's when they turn up and they show up, right? Right? Nowhere to be seen. So we know that these are creations of the West, and they are simply tools of the West to destabilize countries. But what will happen, for example, now, all of a sudden, like maybe, Allah knows best, we might start seeing these kind of false flag terrorist attacks start happening in Europe and the US, Maybe there'll be some mad kind of extremist idiot or something who will maybe do something here and there. Yes, maybe some of these things might happen. But the context is ripe for these Western kind of intelligence agencies to create these false flag, terrorist bombings that they themselves have been doing for 2-3 decades. They're the ones who've been doing that largely, right? And then just to, and so then all of a sudden ISIS will return. They are back. They've come back now, right? So all of this is, I guess in a nutshell, what I'm saying is, the people of innovation and misguidance. In fact, it's exactly as, I think it's 𝗛𝗆 ibn Aqil, I think is the one. I think he said that, or maybe it's another person. There's a statement where the people of innovation are to the people of Islam like people on the inside of like a fortress who open the door and allow the enemies to come in. This is Ahlul Bid'ah wal Dalal. Right? So in the same way, these kind of groups like the Khawarij, the extremists and the terrorists, those who kill innocent civilians and kill non-Muslim civilians and, bomb places and whatever. These are like the Trojan horse. These are the people who open the door to allow non-Muslims to come in and to wreak havoc and to use them for their own advantage. This is what these people are, whether it's Hamas, whether it's ISIS, Daesh, Al-Qaeda, whatever it might be. All of these extremist groups, they end up becoming tools. If they never started out as a tool, they end up becoming a tool. Right? And so that's why the whole thing becomes very, very murky, becomes very, very confusing. When you leave the Sunnah and Tawheed, for the people of Sunnah and Tawheed, the affairs are clear. But for people who are not nurtured upon that, things are very, very murky, and so they only have their emotions to kind of really go upon. And that's why in these times of fitan, we have to be very careful what we say, what we speak, and it's a very sensitive issue, as in, this is complex. There's complex issues going on here. But what we can do, we make dua for the Muslimin, for the oppressed. We send them aid, relief, for food, clothing, medicine, and ask Allah Azza wa Jal to send His aid and His support. And we have yaqeen in the promise of Allah Azza wa Jal, and we know absolutely justice will be done in this life or the next. And that's what we can do, what we can say. We have to continue calling to Allah, calling to Tawheed, calling to the Sunnah. This never stops, right? Because this is paving the way for aid and support, right? So dawah doesn't stop just because of this. We continue because that is the foundation of rectification, right? And it's the moral justification for everything else that follows on from that. So we'll suffice with that, inshallah ta'ala. Allah knows best. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.